Hello and welcome to the Galapagos. It's a little windy, my camera has salt water on it, and I lost my BlackBerry somewhere in Ecuador. It's been an awesome trip so far.
When I was 16, my mom made me a promise. She said, one day, when we're not broke, I'll take you traveling. Well, I'm now a 30-year-old broke law student with a video camera, and mom's making good on her promise. This trip, we've decided on going to Ecuador and the Galapagos. Over the last couple of years, I've become quite interested in Charles Darwin and evolution, and the more I read about his time in the Galapagos, the more of a fascinating place it seemed to be. And when I suggested it to Mom, she thought it was a great idea.
The trips with Mom are always taken in the laps of luxury. For example, dinner is my own salad out of a Ziploc bag with a plastic fork I stole from McDonald's. Enjoy. Okay, it took me about 4 minutes, but I finally figured out how to show Mom how to hold the camera properly.
The Galapagos is a series of volcanic islands about 1,000 kilometers west of Ecuador. In 1959, the Ecuadorian government declared about 98% of the island's landmass a national park. Apparently, it's one of the most biologically diverse areas of the world. To get there, we fly to Quito, Ecuador's capital city, spend the night, and then board a flight first thing in the morning to the Galapagos.
Welcome to Latin America. My son is going to be 30 in 2 weeks, a couple of weeks, August the 2nd, less than 2 weeks. So this is a birthday present. Yes, we can party. Buena idea. Oh, this is incredible. Oh, the last time I was here was probably 1975. The cars are nicer, but it still is noisy. And the buses still have that terrible exhaust, that great big blue cloud of smoke every time they step on the gas. The souvenirs are still the same. Tomorrow we're going to head for the Galapagos Islands.
But in the meantime, it's time to get a good night's sleep, get some rest, get up tomorrow morning at 0500, and then we'll take our flight to the Galapagos, and then the fun starts.
Today we put Quito behind us and head to the airport for our flight. We haven't actually seen much of Quito yet, but we're coming back after the Galapagos for a few days. Except for the main island where the airport is, the Galapagos are basically only accessible by boat. Due to the ecologically sensitive nature of the area, the government of Ecuador is making sure that tourism does as little damage as possible. We had to go through an extensive decontamination procedure to make sure we didn't introduce any foreign contaminants here. After a brief bus ride from the airport, we crossed the channel between Baltra Island, which is where the airport is, to Santa Cruz, where the main community and harbor are. After a longer bus ride, we finally reached the harbor to take another dinghy to the boat and finally get inside our room.
Welcome to the Galapagos. Behind me is the island we're on. I don't know what it's called. Our first outing, we went to this sort of private turtle farm, I guess, but it's not farming in the sense where they grow and kill them. It's actually a private place that the guy charges $3 a head to come and he feeds the turtles. There's a whole bunch of Galapagos turtles there. And when you've been to the Serengeti and seen all the wonderful, crazy things that happen there, it's kind of disappointing to point a camera at a tortoise for, let's say, 10 minutes, and the coolest thing it does is move 6 inches. Every now and then one of them made this weird hissing noise, which I had to say was kind of cool because they were frightened or pissed off or whatever.
Just to imagine, all these mammals very fast running and eating everything. and difficult for the tortoises to compete with them. The national park was created in 1959. The same year was created the Charles Darwin Foundation in Belgium to save the tortoises or to save Galapagos. But in 1964 was created in Galapagos the Charles Darwin Research Station. This is introduced.
Oh, okay.
I may kill this guy if I like, but I don't know. I don't like to do that.
Well, we need dinner, don't we?
Yeah, maybe it's tasty.
Anyway, after about an hour of looking at turtles, which is actually more interesting than it sounds, we went back to the main entrance, which is where you could try and stuff yourself into an actual turtle shell.
That's not gonna work. Maybe. There you go. I might actually get up. No.
No,
There you go.
no.
Like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you should have come.
Oh, yeah. Very good, very good. Okay, that's good enough. Oh, yeah. That was tougher than I thought.
The only other thing on today's itinerary was to stop by a volcanic tunnel. I didn't really pay any attention to what the guide was saying, so I'll let him explain.
There was a canal, and the lava came flowing, forming a huge red river, and arriving probably to the sea. I don't know how long it was all the tunnel, but in this area we have the surface is collapsed. When the lava is running, it's important the weather in Galapagos. If it's cold, the surface is solidified quickly, but underneath is still liquid. The melted lava is running, yet when the lava is evacuated, leaves this chamber.
I thought as soon as we got out it would be high. That was kind of cool. That was good.
This ends our first day in the islands and begins our first night on the boat. Tomorrow is snorkeling, which I'm really looking forward to since the Galapagos are famous for their underwater wildlife. And I'm going to have time to, I'm going to have to switch over to the video camera that I bought at, the underwater video camera that I bought at Future Shop, which is absolutely terrible and has horrendous video quality, but it's an underwater camera. I was going to take it back. I didn't have time to take it back downtown though, so they said, well, we can't take it back from you because we don't know what condition it was in, but we can extend your return policy till you get back from your trip. So I said, okay. Of course, I promise I won't take it diving or underwater. So now, if any of you talk to Future Shop, this camera stayed in Vancouver and didn't go underwater and didn't film all the footage you're about to see.
Oh, I see.
Last night was a mediocre at best night's sleep, considering we left San whatever and went to San something else at about 1 in the morning, got there at about 6. So everyone woke up, I guess, at about 2, and the boat was rocking back and forth. Actually, right now the boat's just doing absolutely crazy things. Snorkeling is a lot harder than I remember. I'm getting sick. Need some air in here. Oh yeah. Whew. Bear with me while I look out the window here.
After a morning of snorkeling with a broken camera, we had what's known as a wet landing on Puerto Egas in Santiago Island, which basically meant that those of us who were dumb enough not to bring sandals had to hop around like idiots to try and get our shoes on. This afternoon we're going for a nature hike, since this area is known for its black sand beaches and sea lion families. And there were a ton of sea lions around. One of them even ended up kissing my foot.
Different species of tortoises. These are 2 females. They are now having trouble for its bed. I think the 2 are pregnant.
The marine iguanas are actually quite amazing. They look exactly like the rock, and I know for sure I stepped on at least one of them. And every now and then one of them would snort. Now, because they feed underwater, they ingest way too much salt, and over time they've actually developed these glands to spit out the salt. There are also a few of you that specifically asked me about Galapagos boobies, and here they are. I'll leave the crab strokes out, but I do have to say that they have amazing color. We also saw the Galapagos scorpion. I think this is the first and only time I've ever actually seen a scorpion in the wild. And our guide also found a praying mantis.
What to see this?
Whenever I'm down, I call on you, my friend. A helping hand you lend in my time of need. Whenever I'm down, I call on you, my friend. I call on you, my friend. I call on you, my friend. Whenever I'm down, and all that's going on is really going on. Just one love.
Now, our hike's pretty much over, and it's time to go back to the boat. Tomorrow morning is Sullivan Island for another nature hike, but for now it's just time to relax and hang around with the others. This afternoon, we found ourselves on Bartolome Island. The island's main characteristic was that it's one of the newest islands, which meant that it was basically a big chunk of rock sticking out of the ocean with nothing growing on it. You can see a plant called the Brachyceras, also known as the lava cactus, growing out of the rock. I don't know how this works, but apparently the lava cactus is the first step towards actually getting a sustainable ecosystem out of an island that's made out of solid rock.
Right, the guide said we're not allowed to go up, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Okay, this wasn't as good an idea as I thought. Don't try that at home.
Eventually, we made it to a local viewpoint, which gave us a neat view of the surrounding area. Now this famous landmark here is called the Pinnacle Rock, which we boated by on our way to the next island.
This is day 3 in the Galapagos. It's quite an amazing area here. Most of our days have been spent snorkeling or doing hikes. My camera, the one that I said was crappy, doesn't work anymore. So, dear Pentax, you make shitty cameras, but today is our last day. We have snorkeling at 2:30 again, which unfortunately I won't be able to video because Pentax are a bunch of bastards. And then we have a hike up a mountain, which I'm actually quite looking forward to. I think there's going to be some awesome views there. A couple things that's tough to get used to here, one of which is the toilet system. They don't have the ability to process toilet paper in their stuff, so you have to throw all your toilet paper in this garbage bag, or this garbage bin at the side. So I've been trying to figure out for days what the bathroom ends up smelling at. It turns out Brussels sprouts. That's what it is. One of the coolest things about traveling is when you look at your GPS and you're actually confronted with the fact that you're way the hell out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, there we go. You should be able to see it now.
Hola, hola. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Sorry if I disturbed your siesta. And 10 more minutes we'll go to the beach. Our landing will be to the beach to start the snorkeling or to have relaxed time. Okay? Please in 10 more minutes. Thank you.
Well, there we go. 10 more minutes to snorkeling. Marriott. To be completely isolated right up at the top of a mountain and everyone's left. I'll probably miss the boat. Oh well. The view's nice. All right, that's all I got.
This is the end of our last day on the Galapagos. Tomorrow morning we're back to the mainland and take a flight to Quito, where we'll spend a couple of days before it's off to Santiago and Easter Island. I had a great time here in the Galapagos. When I got here, I really had no idea what to expect, but in the last few days I've become quite attuned to the value of an ecosystem that's actually isolated from everything. Many of the animals here can be found nowhere else in the world, and actually this is the only place where you'll find penguins in the Northern Hemisphere.
Alright, we made it back on dry land and I didn't wreck the camera. Yes!
I think what really cemented the deal for me was snorkeling. The first time I dropped under the water and could basically swim to within a foot of a 100-kilogram sea turtle who really didn't seem to mind me there, I was hooked. I totally enjoyed my time here and hope to come back sometime in the future with a water-resistant camera that actually resists water. I hate you, Pentax.
So you're telling me you've never actually learned how to drive?
Never. Now I have to go to this. Well, last time I get my driver license, a new one, a year ago. I was reading the book, Oh yeah. to go.
Our guide doesn't have a driver's license. She just had to buy one. She's like grandfathered in, like the new people need to write some sort of test or take lessons, but no. We're still alive though, so that's all good.
I never had an accident, never.
You never ever had an accident? Well, I have a camera, so whenever you're ready. That's an actual traffic lane right here. I know it looks like a shoulder to the untrained eye, but there are arrows on it and you can see it's an actual lane. And remember, our driver doesn't have a license, so this is kind of weird. We're back in Quito. It's a real hotel room. We get free chocolate. This is awesome. It's really nice to be in a place that doesn't go. Are you getting flung all over the place? I stole this from the airplane.
Oh, you did? Good. I was going to take one.
You're gonna tin nice.
Yeah, we believe in just going first class all the way, which is why we steal stuff from the airport. My shoes are wrecked. I have a sore throat, but we're having a good time in spite of everything. So now we're going to have a massage.
Yeah, traveling with mom's really rough. We're off for the massage.
And my attempt to go to the gym afterwards failed miserably due to the altitude. Maybe tomorrow. Today, we're off to the Otavalo Market. This is a city in Ecuador where the community basically decided to capitalize on the tourism and turn the entire downtown into an outdoor market.
Okay, so Alexandra showed us her driver's license, but I don't know, it kind of looks like she just made it herself and then like bought a white strip of card. And then, I don't know, there's this little logo, it kind of looks like Ecuador, it looks like someone smudged a little bit of ink on it. I don't know, I don't trust her. We'll see what her driving looks like afterwards. Alright, we just crossed over into the Northern Hemisphere. You can see how cold and desolate the landscape is now. And how uninteresting everything has become.
On the way, we're stopping off for a quick bathroom break at a town that overlooks the Imbabura volcano.
Hello, welcome to the Andes. I just paid 25 cents for a washroom with no running water or method of drying your hands. But the view is awesome. What's that called? What's that called again?
Imbabura.
Imbabura? What she said. That's the volcano.
Imbabura.
Imbabura. I'm going to edit in all the real names afterwards.
And finally, we made it to Otavalo. The market's there every day, but typically Saturday is their biggest day. And as luck would have it, this is Saturday. Different towns in this region are famous for different things, and Otavalo is famous for its textiles.
So against the better judgment of our tour guide, we decided to stop at this local eatery to get a local hamburger. So if the next video that we cut to is me in the bed, or me in the bathroom, or loud noises emanating from the bathroom, you'll know I was wrong. But I'm betting it's going to be fine, because I'm hungry and damn it, I want a hamburger.
I hate working. This is so much more fun. I really hate working.
Awesome. Mom's here sniping for photos from the locals. Nobody looks up here, so we don't have to pay them. It saves us $1. Tastes like a hamburger.
I'll try it later.
It's still hot, I think. I gotta admit, the burger was pretty terrible. We'll run the foreign food roulette wheel and see what happens.
Do they know it's me?
Just say it now.
Okay, here we go. We were at the Otavalo market, and I wanted to buy one of the blouses that the locals wear, but it was $35, something like that, $35. So we started to bargain, and I offered, I don't know, 25 or whatever it was. So we kind of went back and forth, and then I said to the lady in Spanish, well, I'm Canadian. Well, she said, that's nice, you're from Canada. She's from Ecuador, but the price is still $30 for the blouse. So I thought that was pretty clever and pretty quick, so I bought the blouse for $30.
Anything else good price? I have like this maybe. This is the Inca calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe with this one.
I bought a bracelet for my girlfriend from this guy, and I can't seem to figure out if I paid a fair price or not.
Okay, so be honest, how badly did I get taken?
You paid a good price.
Okay.
We also went into the food part of the market, which had all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But one thing that pisses me off about traveling is when the guides, or whoever, says don't eat the local food. There's all sorts of incredibly tasting fruits and vegetables, but I wasn't allowed to eat any of these. Instead, I had to go to the hotel or grocery store, and the vegetables were absolutely terrible.
So we're off to a hacienda, but the guy just said, what did you say?
I always get confused in these areas. I don't know where this is.
Well, I have a GPS so we can get back to the hotel, but that's not really going to do us much good. I have the utmost faith in you, Alexander. So far, the landmarks for finding the hacienda is that it's between a school and a volcano. And it's been 4 hours since we tried to find... No. At least you led us right to it. Yay!
Sun is shining. The weather is sweet. Sun is shining.
Today's been a long day, but we're lucky in that holy shit, look out! I can't get over the traffic here. Double solid lines seem to be more suggestions than actual rules.
So last night, we're gonna get some laundry done, and Mom takes a look at the laundry price sheet and like justifiably shits a brick. Look at this. Undershirts, $4.84 US. Shirts, $6.60 US. Socks, $2.42 a pair. So to do basically what I'm wearing right now and what you see on the bed here would have cost $103.18. So instead of paying the extortionist rates, we decided to do the time-honored tradition of using the hotel shampoo in the hotel bathroom, which luckily enough there were 2 sinks, so we could do this little wash and rinse cycle. And of course, hair dryers work wonder on socks. We were doing it in the bathroom, but the problem is it started smoking. I didn't want to set the fire alarm off. We now have clean clothes. And the Swiss hotel can go screw themselves. Where are we going today? Center of the world.
And a museum and the historical center of Quito.
You heard the lady. So today after breakfast we're heading to the center of the world and some other museums and other less important stuff. At some point in history, the French or the Spanish came here and they measured out the world, and they decided that somewhere in Ecuador along the equatorial line is the east-west center of the world as well. So there's this point that we're going to that is the center of the world. Now I don't know why it's not just between the Greenwich median line and the equator, but here we are and there we're going. Actually, once we talked with our guide, she recommended that we go to the Teleferico today instead, since today is sunny and tomorrow is supposed to rain. Now for those of you in Vancouver, the Teleferico is very similar to the Grouse Mountain Gondola, except that a round trip costs $8 instead of $50, and you're not downloading with 100 sweaty hikers. Now this was one of those really neat moments where it kind of hits you that you're quite far from home. I mean, up here it's 14,000 feet in the southern hemisphere, and these are the Andes. It's like when you first touch an Egyptian pyramid, it kind of connects you with history and makes it real instead of it just being some picture in a textbook or a series of bumps in a globe.
It's like 13,000 feet. I've hiked up from the cable cars down there, and that's how far we have to go. Andre Dupuy, I don't know how you did it. $4,071 meters. 10 minutes I've been talking and it wasn't recording. This is the city of Quito behind me. I was really looking forward to getting up here because of the view. The actual cityscape from inside the hotel was pretty amazing, but you could see the mountains from our actual hotel room, and I really wanted to get up here to take a view of the city from what essentially is 4,200 meters.
When I was in Europe, I actually got to stand at the Greenwich median and simultaneously be in both hemispheres at once, so it's really neat to be able to do this officially in the equator as well. At some point in my life, I think it'd be neat to go to 0 by 0, but I've heard that that's somewhere in the Atlantic and it's kind of a pointless trip. I guess this somewhat artificially designated center of the world is probably as close as I'm going to get to Middle Earth.
Oh, the funniest thing happened. We were at the Center of the World Monument. This kid comes up to me and says something in Spanish, and I don't know what it was. And then, like, I look over and there's this kid who's like 2'5", and then his mom behind him holding a camera, and they're both kind of staring at me with this look of befuddlement as to how the world could manufacture such a human being. I don't know, they said something in Spanish, and I'm like, sure, whatever. So, yes, the kid wanted to take a picture with him and the giant.
12 years ago, the army from US and Canadian scientists were doing a new investigation about the crater. So the difference today is 250 meters northern.
Okay.
How much you have?
I don't know, it says 62 meters south, 62 south.
Yeah.
So that would, I don't know how many meters that would be.
So, look here, the leaves. We use the leaves.
Once we actually got to the equator, it became quite apparent that this was a disingenuous tourist trap and our guide was totally full of shit. Someone told me about the Coriolis effect demonstrations. Apparently they're mostly just trickery. So watch the demonstration and see if you can figure out what the trick is.
To the right and the south. Okay, so we got a movement to the right. So if you go to Canada...
Yes, if you pour the water in sideways and have everything turning before you pull the drain, it's actually going to turn the way you want to. What a shocker.
But if you are in the eastern part,
the more our guide kept talking, the dumber this stuff sounded. The next thing we're asked to do is balance an egg on the head of a nail at the equator.
This egg has weights in it. It's not. Chicken inside? Yeah, the chicken is moving.
I did it and got this little certificate, but Mom couldn't seem to figure it out, but got a certificate anyway. I guess no child left behind has made it here too.
Did you get it?
The best of all was when the muscle testing started. Now apparently it's easier for her to pull my arms down at the equator since gravity is weaker and there's less internal resistance. I know that makes no sense to any of you, but that's actually what she said.
Okay. Let's come to the equator. Okay. You make on your fingers. Okay. So you will feel the difference. Ready?
Okay. Well, you just yanked them apart.
Okay, hands up. Okay, I will do one hand. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so explain me this, Chris.
I'm tired now.
Ah,
She did it there. If you start on the equator and go over there, it'll work the same way but backwards.
Well, this is a little bit of an example
Try with my left hand.
how resistance works.
See?
Yes? Oh, sorry. How resistance works because...
So what does the equator have to do with it? Right.
But when we got less gravity, our body has less resistance. Well, it matters because it's on the equator and we weigh less, and we got less resistance. But if you want to check the real effect of gravity, we should send our rockets from here and less gravity, major velocity. That's how it works gravity. Not without body.
I don't know if you can tell by my expression, but I wanted to punch this woman in the face.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is just a neurology test, okay? Be on the equator, heel to toe, one foot in front of the other. Okay. Your arms straight, thumbs up, and close your eyes, okay? Don't look. Oh! Don't worry about the line. Just feel the pulling, okay? When you close your eyes, your neurology system. I can feel the scrambled egg, mister.
Going to try with another video, right? Are you
Probably. Yeah. My mom's hammered.
Okay, so you'd think in a fruit-producing country that they can make strawberries that don't taste like shit. But if you go to the supermarket, you'd be wrong. Trying to figure out what these actually taste like. This doesn't even look like a good strawberry. It tastes like
a radish.
A radish. Yeah. Strawberry, Ecuador strawberries. I can't believe it's not a radish.
Oh, the tomatoes grow on trees?
Oh yeah, the tomatoes grow on trees here. They're sour as hell. Mom says I should go eat some chips now.
Try yogurt.
Right, Mom? Oh yeah, that's right. I bought some probiotic yogurt. I haven't been farting with quite the normal confidence as the last little while, so we'll try some probiotic yogurt. But it wasn't a hamburger. Oh, nice. It looks like...
Because it's warm. It's been sitting out for half a day.
So, this just seems wrong.
I'm not sure. Let me look at it.
Limpio por dentro. How the hell does yogurt clean your teeth? One of the weirdest things in my life that ever happened just happened. It's 9 o'clock Sunday night. There's a knock on the door. I go and open it, and this room service guy is standing there, says something in Spanish, hands me 2 pieces of chocolate, and walks away. It's like, I'll take it.
Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias.
So it's August 2nd, my 30th birthday. Today consists... Hang on a sec, let's see if Mom can figure this out. Nope. Today consists of doing the tours and visits we didn't get around to yesterday because we went to the Teleferico. It was actually a good decision on our guide's behalf considering that today is both foggy and raining.
Downtown is
We went to one of the main squares in Quito where the president of Ecuador was speaking.
Vamos a inflamar de patriotismo los corazones. Juntos vamos a vencer a las fuerzas.
So, our time is finally up in Ecuador and we're off to Santiago to start the leg of our trip to Easter Island. I liked Ecuador. I originally thought this would be another Spanish-speaking third world country where I'd feel like the elite rich tourist getting shuttled around, but it wasn't. Quito was a city where, even though I didn't speak the language, I actually understood life. There was enough that was similar to not get lost in the different ways and customs, but it was still interesting to see something that wasn't your own.
okay. I think I'm ready to move on to the next segment. We're just waiting for the driver to come pick us up, and we're heading for the airport. Our flight tonight to Santiago is at quarter to 10. So we've got about 3 hours of sitting and waiting at the airport. We get to Santiago tomorrow morning about 5:45.
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
And we have a bit of time to ourselves, and then in the afternoon we start the tour, and away we go again.
Now starts 10 hours to Santiago. Mom, are you excited?
Very.
For 10 hours.
I'm excited about sitting at an airport for 10 hours.